Welcome to the Explainer. Now, if you think human fertility is just this simple monthly occurrence, well, think again. Today, we're diving straight into a hidden, meticulously timed biological factory that operates, honestly, almost entirely in secret. We're going to uncover the science, the silent threats, the real tests, and the exact steps you can take to optimize your reproductive health. So, here's our roadmap for today. We'll uncover the hidden egg journey, identify the enemies of egg quality, look at how to measure your ovarian reserve, peek into the secrets of the IVF lab, and finally, wrap it up with an empowering 90-day plan. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The Hidden Egg Journey. Let's look at exactly where the egg comes from before it ever even sees the fallopian tubes.
Okay, here's a massive timeline shift that kind of changes everything. Did you know the egg ovulated today didn't just appear this morning? It actually started its final maturation process 3 whole months ago. That means every nutritional choice, every stress spike, every single habit you've had over the last 90 days, it's all been actively shaping this one microscopic cell.
2 million. I mean, that is a staggering number, right? That number actually represents a woman's entire lifetime ovarian reserve at birth. We're talking 1 to 2 million dormant eggs kept in a deep, deep sleep inside these tiny primordial follicles. And over a lifetime, only a very, very select few of these will ever wake up to complete the journey.
Think of this whole thing like a biological assembly line powering up. After literally years in a dormant phase, day 1 of the cycle triggers this activation sequence. Your brain releases FSH, that's follicle-stimulating hormone, just to wake the whole system up. Then, over the next 2 weeks, a dominant follicle feeds on estrogen, growing into this blister-like structure until day 14. That's when an LH surge forces it to rupture and release the fully mature egg. All right, Section 2, Enemies of Egg Quality. Because let's face it, our biological factory doesn't always operate smoothly. Let's look at what actually disrupts this delicate 90-day process. So different conditions can actually sabotage the egg in completely different ways. Take PCOS, or polycystic ovary syndrome, for example. It physically traps the egg. High androgen levels basically halt the follicle's growth when it's still tiny, leaving the egg suffocating in a toxic, unripe environment. But then, on the flip side, you have chronic stress, which acts chemically. High cortisol levels send this massive red alert danger signal straight to the brain, which effectively shuts down those FSH and LH ovulation signals we were just talking about. Your brain is literally saying, hey, it is not safe to have a baby right now, and the entire factory just hits pause. And you know, this disruption extends to body weight too, acting in 2 very distinct ways. Obesity creates this really hostile environment of high insulin and inflammation, literally suffocating the developing egg. Conversely, being severely underweight absolutely tanks your leptin levels, and without leptin, your brain thinks you're starving. It'll completely shut down the reproductive factory just to conserve energy. It's all about balance.
Moving on to Section 3, Measuring Your Ovarian Reserve. We know the threats, but how do we actually know what's left in the tank?
Well, the most common and accurate blood test doctors use is AMH, or anti-Müllerian hormone. This hormone is actually produced directly by those silent follicles waiting in the wings. And because it reflects the dormant pool, you can take this test on literally any day of your cycle and get a highly accurate estimate of your total remaining egg count. Then we have FSH, but this one must be measured strictly on day 2 or 3 of your cycle. This test measures how hard your brain is working to wake those ovaries up. Basically, if your FSH level is high, your brain is practically screaming at your ovaries to produce an egg. And that is a major red flag that the ovarian reserve is running critically low. Finally, there's the AFC, the antral follicle count. This is a literal visual inventory done via ultrasound early in the cycle. Doctors will literally count the tiny 2 to 10 millimeter follicles in both ovaries. This helps them predict exactly how well the factory might respond to stimulation medications later on.
Section 4, Secrets of IVF.
Let's pivot from quantity to quality here and look at exactly what embryologists are evaluating under the microscope.
Under the microscope, embryologists are hunting for some very specific traits. A high-quality egg has a transparent beige cytoplasm. You can think of that as the meat of the egg. The outer shell needs this sort of Goldilocks thickness. Not too thick for sperm to penetrate, but not too thin to protect an embryo. And crucially, it absolutely needs mitochondria producing high ATP. That gives the egg the massive battery power it needs to divide.
But listen, here is the absolute biggest secret of the IVF lab. External appearance lies. No joke,
An egg can look absolutely beautiful on the outside, but be completely dead on the inside if its DNA is fractured or its mitochondria are sluggish. Conversely, an average-looking egg with really strong internal energy and stable DNA, it'll often outperform the beautiful one, successfully dividing into a healthy embryo. When it really comes down to it, internal energy always beats aesthetics, every time.
Now, when these eggs become day 5 blastocysts, they get graded with a number and letters, something like 4AA. So the number, that's how expanded the embryo is. The first letter grades the inner cell mass. That's the part that actually becomes the baby. The second letter grades the trophectoderm, which becomes the placenta. So an AA means dense, high-quality cells across the board. That makes it a perfect candidate for transfer.
And finally, Section 5, the 90-day plan. We know what makes a perfect egg, but how do we build one? It's time to put that 90-day biological window to work. Here is your high-level protocol to really repair the factory. First up, you have to optimize the nutritional fuel your cells are running on. Second, fix the external environment by managing your sleep and stress. Next, you want to aggressively reduce environmental toxins that act as endocrine disruptors. And finally, drive that blood flow directly to the ovaries through moderate, consistent exercise.
So what about supplements? Well, here is the science-backed fuel your factory needs for those 90 days. Folic acid and B12 are totally non-negotiable for stabilizing DNA. CoQ10 is your mitochondrial fuel. It directly charges up that ATP battery we talked about earlier. Vitamin D3 helps mature that crucial outer shell, and omega-3 fatty acids reduce cellular inflammation so the egg can develop in pristine fluid. It's a real game changer.
And of course, we have the lifestyle protocol, basically your factory's protective shield. You really want to maintain a healthy BMI to prevent insulin and leptin from throwing off your cycle. You definitely need 7 to 9 hours of sleep to regulate your biological clock and growth hormones. You've got to actively manage stress with things like yoga or meditation to keep cortisol from shutting down ovulation. And crucially, stop smoking entirely. Seriously, toxins don't just rapidly accelerate the loss of your ovarian reserve, they directly damage the egg's DNA.
I want to leave you all with this thought. The human egg is not a static object. It's a dynamic factory influenced by everything you do. You have tremendous agency over your reproductive health, and the foundation for the egg you'll release 3 months from now, it's being built today. The clock is ticking, sure, but the controls are in your hands. So are you ready to optimize your factory? Keep exploring and keep learning.